Someone tested your gangster and found out the hard way. Yes, sir. Let me say it louder. For my chosen ones in the back. Listen, family. Someone tested your gangster and found out the hard way. I need somebody to drop in the comments and say, don't test my gangster. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments, family, and say, don't test my gangster. Now, I know what you're thinking. When you hear the word gangster, you automatically think about the propaganda they fed us through movies, television, right? TV shows, books, violence, the list goes on, right? But when I say gangster, my definition of that, y'all, is God, number one. And up under that is intelligence, is stability, is success, is peace, love, compassion, and unity. That's my definition, y'all. We got to change the definition of these words. Now, this is what I want you to understand. When I say God is gangster, y'all drop that down below in the comments. God is gangster, right? But what I want you to realize is there is a parallel with the streets and heaven. Let me break that down for you. In the streets, you have what we call foot soldiers, right? Or gang members. Well, in heaven, you have angels. In the streets, you have a gang. Well, in heaven, you have spiritual alliances. In the streets, you have guns, drugs, money, right? The list goes on. And if you give them to a person for free, they may say, hey, bro, appreciate you for blessing me. Well, in heaven, they have something called blessings. These are your opportunities, financial increases, your business booming financially, things that you did not expect, but it came, favor. Blessings can come in any way, shape, form, or fashion when it comes to heaven. Bruno, what are you saying right now? That's what I mean by God being gangster, right? Now, here's another parallel that I'm about to draw. In the streets, if you touch a person from another set or a gang or organization, whatever you want to call it, and you're not supposed to, then you get dealt with, right? Same thing with God's chosen. If you touch his anointing and you know you're not supposed to, you'll get dealt with. Reno, what are you saying right now? It's not too much of a difference. You know, we always was taught that the biggest gang in the world is America, the government, right? No, they ain't the biggest gang. Yeah, here on earth, right? Here on earth, but the biggest gang that ever existed and ever will exist forever, it's gonna be heaven, right? And the leader of it is Big G-O-D. All right, it's Big G-O-D. God is gangster. Somebody drop that down below in the comments, right? And so now that we have changed the narrative and now we understand that we ain't talking about shoot 'em up, bang, bang, beat on your woman, beat on your dude, you know, rob banks, kill, steal. We ain't talking about that. We're talking about being connected to something higher than what the eyes can see. But they always protect you. You can always feel it. Make sense of what I'm saying, y'all? Drop in the comments and let me know. But family, we're going to go ahead and get directly into this video. I want to let you know 5 things they found out after testing your gangster. It's always going to be one. But guess what? You always make an example out of that one. And that one is going to encourage and prove to everybody why you should not be messed with, touched, or played with. All right, and that's just the honest to God truth, okay? But family, let's go ahead and get directly into this video. As y'all can see, we are right here, y'all, around the legendary couch. As always, I'm sending nothing but love, peace, prosperity, and happiness to the family, y'all. Not too much going on right now, but you know, we're here getting this message out, y'all. And I'm making this specifically because I know on your job they testing your gangster. I know you got that one family member, that one person who keep testing your gangster. And I know, y'all, it's those random people who you meet, but they got that same spirit. They keep testing your gangster. And I'm about to let you know what they found out, or what they will find out after they test your gangster, all right? But let's go ahead and get directly into this, y'all. Number one is going to be this. God delivered on time. That's what they found out. That's what you already knew, but you found it out. Well, they found it out, is that God delivered on time. Let's get right into this, y'all. So I'm sure y'all know about Lazarus, right? He was a friend of Jesus. That was Jesus' friend, okay? Let me just break this down. The situation is, That's Jesus' friend. But he can't get to him because back in the day, y'all, you got to walk, you got to ride camels, horses. I don't even think horses was popular. I think it was straight camels and donkeys, okay? Which caused a what? A delay. So Jesus heard that Lazarus was sick about 2 days before he even got there, right? 2 days before he even got there. But upon his arrival, it was about 4 days in total of him coming up on Lazarus' death, right? So he heard about it 2 days before, like 2 days before he even got sick, or 2 days during his sickness. But after he died, it was 4 days. So his arrival was late. It was a delay, right? Then let's talk about this miracle, though. You know, in your life, it's going to be some things that happen, and you know it took the Most High. You know it wasn't no way for you to get out that situation. You knew you was not supposed to make it out of that obstacle. You knew that you were not supposed to get the job. You already knew that you were not supposed to make it out of that situation. But somehow a miracle happened. And so just like with Lazarus, everybody like, he dead now. We told you 2 days ago, right? We told you 2 days while he was sick. And then you waited 4 days after his death. We told you, man, it's too late. And then here go all the naysayers. Jesus can't do it. He can't raise him up from the dead. He never did that miracle. And everybody is just sitting here being a negative Nancy, negative Ned. And the only people who believe in Jesus is Lazarus' weeping sisters. Those are the only ones. They led him to Lazarus' tombstone. He go inside there and he performed that miracle. And after he performed the miracle, he showed people that the lesson is God's time is not your timing. He delivers on time. See, it's been times when you felt like you was dead. It's been times where you felt like there was no hope. There were times where everybody around you were weeping. Everybody around you was, unbelievers, naysayers. It was those times. However, the miracle came and you learned the valuable lesson. God delivers always on time. And that's the thing that your enemies just learned and understood, that God delivers on time. Right now, you may not have it. Right now, it may not look good for you. Right now, it may not seem that it can be possible. But what happens? You realize that the delay does not mean that God will not arrive and perform the miracle. Therefore, you're going to get that lesson. And the lesson is, God always delivers on time. All right? Understand what I'm saying, y'all? So they tested your gangster, but God delivered on time. Number 2, they realized or found out that God is bigger. God is bigger, y'all. I don't care what nobody say. God is going to always be bigger than your problem, my problem, his problem. God is going to always be bigger than your insecurity, uncertainties. God will always be bigger than that big mansion that you just purchased, that big house you just purchased, that nice, luxurious apartment you just rented, right? Like, God will always be bigger than materialistic possessions, things that are here on earth. He always will, right? And so when your enemies test your gangster, they think that since you're smaller than them, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, right, psychologically, they think since you are not on the same level as them, status-wise, they think that since they are in more of authority than you, that they can just say what they want and do what they want. But what they fail to realize is God is bigger. Let's just say if you're in a financial situation, you know that you don't have not even $100 in your savings account, right? And for those who don't know, it has been a proven fact that the average American does not have at least $1,000 saved up in their account, which means there's a lot of people with less than about $900 in their account. Some people don't even have $100. These are facts, y'all. These are facts. So let's just say you one of them people who don't even have $100 in your bank account, which means if you don't get that paycheck, then you're gonna be out on the grass. Yeah, y'all. Sprinklers hitting you. Waking up, dogs may be lifting their leg up, peeing on you. It's that serious. You living paycheck to paycheck. This is the financial situation. But somehow you get you a check, somehow you get a new job, somehow you get a contract, a deal, you get something that take care of not only the bills, but and then some. Somebody drop that down below in the comments, and then some. See, when God bless you, he don't give you just enough. He give you some more. He give you that and then some. He give you this and then some, right? So God will always be bigger. Let's just say you got some enemies. People who are bullying you on the job, at school. People who are bullying you even within your relationship, right? Bullying don't stop just because you're out, just because you're inside the house. That's where a lot of the bullying starts, if we want to be 100% honest. But yeah, let's just say you got your enemies and they're just, dominating you. And you don't understand how to get around them. Well, once you realize that God is bigger, that's when he delivers, right? Notice, if you don't believe that God is bigger, then he never will. But if you believe that God is bigger, then that's when he shows himself. He reveals himself to those who believe, right? He reveals himself to those who have faith. So once you put your faith in God being bigger, that's when he reveals himself. Rena, what are you saying right now? They now know that God is bigger. He shows up every time. He pull up strapped. He spins the block. He don't play about you especially, right? Somebody drop that down below in the comments. God don't play about me. God is bigger than your enemy, your family member who doubts you, your friend who hates on you, the person you're in a relationship with who's jealous of you, at the job, your boss who always belittle you. God is always bigger, right? Moving on to the next thing, y'all. Number 3, it's gonna be this right here, y'all. You're nothing to play with, all right? You ain't nothing to play with. You're not their toy, right? You're not their game. They can't just call you when they want to. They can't just pull up on you whenever, they think that you are available. Oh, you always available? I'll pull up on you as I see fit, right? No, stop being available for people, right? But you ain't nothing to play with. And what this reminds me of, y'all, is a woman or man who is dating with purpose, right? Yes, ladies, men can date with purpose too, all right? Men can date with purpose too, but you know what? I'm going to pat my ladies on the back tonight. We're going to talk about the ladies. What I want y'all to understand is when a woman is dating with purpose, what happens is she does not allow no man to play with her time. She do not allow no man to treat her like she's just a piece of meat. She remains, or she sustains her respect, dignity, and integrity, which means I ain't gonna be no pick me. Yeah, y'all ladies know I know the lingo. I ain't gonna be no pick me, and I'm not gonna let you treat me how you want to. So I'm gonna do these 3 things, right? I'm gonna set limits early on. I'm gonna say no firmly, and not only that, but I'm going to enforce the consequences. I have to, because that's the only way I'm going to be able to value myself. A lot of times women are looked at as sexual objects. I can say that as a man, right? Women can be looked at as sexual objects. I'm not saying, once again, that my men cannot date with purpose too, because we as men have that right. Right? It's okay for us to have standards. It's okay to value our bodies. It's okay to, be preservative and conservative of our minds and our bodies and our energy, right? But the point is, y'all, when you're dating with purpose, you're showing people that I'm not no one to play with. You can't just call me when you think I'm available. You can't just call me because I am accessible. You can't just pull up on me because you don't value me like that, right? Like, you can't just dangle something in front of my face, something that I like in front of my face, and say, are you happy now? No, I'm not happy. I'm happy with self, but I'm not happy with you. So when you're nothing to play with, that's what you show them. You prove them that I'm not the one. You can't be played with, right? Somebody drop in the comments and say I can't be played. Okay, make sure y'all drop in the comments and say I can't be played. Next thing, y'all, it's gonna be this. Number 4, taunting you makes it worse. All right, taunting you makes it worse. So let me go ahead and just say this right here, y'all. When a person is taunting you, they see something in you that's special. They see something in you that's great. But instead of allowing you to really embody and embrace that greatness and that specialty, right? They rather make a mockery of you in front of other people. They rather taunt you. But what they're doing is setting themselves up. They hurting themselves, right? Somebody drop in the comments and say, you're only hurting you, because that's what they're doing. Now, let's talk about it, y'all. In the Bible, he had a prophet by the name of Elijah. Elijah was not in the Bible very long. I think he only spent 60 years here on earth. He only spent about 60 years here on earth because he was such a pristine prophet to where God went ahead and said, come on, it's time for you to ascend. You got to come up here. I got to make you an angel. You one of the ones, right? So Elijah didn't even get the time to spend, he didn't get the chance to spend a lot of time here on earth because he was just that pristine. He was just that clean, like he was doing all that he was supposed to do. He executed his purpose. But right here, y'all, in 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 23 through 24. Once again, y'all, 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 23 through 24. It says, then he went up from there to Bethel. And as he was going up the road, some youths came from the city and mocked him and said to him, go up, you bald head. Go up, you bald head. So he turned around and looked at them and pronounced a curse on them in the name of the Lord. In the name of the Lord, y'all. And 2 female bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 of the youths. 1 against 42. Yeah, I ain't talking about 20 versus 1, y'all. I ain't talking about that. I said 1 versus 42. Right? When you have been called, when you have a purpose, and when you are a true chosen one, it can be 4,200. They'll all be mauled. They'll all be looked down upon. And they'll all be dealt with. Make sense of what I'm saying, y'all? So it says it right here in 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 23 through 24, that in so many words, they mocked Elijah. They mocked him. But when he turned around, because he had the Spirit of God upon him, the power of God upon him, and he said what he said, 2 female bears came out and mauled all 42 of them. That's the power that you possess. This is what happens when someone tests your gangster. Somebody drop in the comments and say, don't test my gangster. I'm just being honest, y'all. All right. Number 5, last thing is going to be this right here. You are smarter than what you look. All right. You are smarter than what you look. Family, when I say that, I'm not saying that to insult anybody. Okay. Because sometimes I'm smarter than what I look. And what that means is I don't always dress up. I don't always wear jewelry. I don't always wear a nice hat. Sometimes, y'all, I wear a hoodie. Sometimes I wear basic joggers. Like, I'm not finna go outside looking like it's a fashion show every time. Sometimes I just want to be basic. Sometimes I just want to be to myself, right? But the point of what I'm saying is, y'all, is if you don't use certain words, you don't have a huge vocabulary, or maybe you do, but you understand how to code switch, you understand how to dumb yourself down, right? Which is a talent in itself. If you're not dressed up to the T all the time, or if you don't look like someone who's smart, quote unquote, then sometimes people will try to play you like you stupid. People will try to act like you dumb. Real life true story, y'all. This is a real true story. I went to school with this girl named Katrina, right? And I'm going to call myself out. I was a jerk sometimes. I was a jerk because I wanted to be popular. Sometimes I would like to please other people, not please them to, get a pat on the back, but please them to show that, hey, I'm just as popular, right? Hey, I can do the same thing y'all do. Not looking for their approval. I guess in a sense I was looking for their approval, but I was just trying to show that I was my own man, if that makes sense, right? So I would joke on people, and I was pretty funny. Like in 8th grade, I got most humorous. I really did. In 8th grade, I got most humorous, right? And that kind of came from just making people the laughing stock. I was really that funny. I wish I could show y'all my yearbook, right? But anyway, besides babbling on that point, the point is that I was going to school with this girl named Katrina, and she didn't really have clothes. You know, she didn't really have clothes like that. She would repeat some of her same clothes. I remember vividly a roach coming out of her jacket. I remember her smelling like garbage, like, and at this time being very mature and such a stupid jerk, you know. What we like in 6th grade, you know, 5th grade, something like that. At that time, I just thought that was so funny, and everybody in the class and everybody in our grade would often associate her not having what the necessities and clothes and good hygiene. We will oftentimes associate that with her being dumb, and it don't just stop with kids. Adults do the same thing. You know, adults can sometimes associate a person's appearance with their mind, and you simply can't do that, because one day I tell y'all I failed the test with like a strong 65. A strong 65. Katrina got her grade back. Get what it was? A strong 95. 95, 96, something like that. And guess who became the laughing stock? I did, right? Because I'm over here cracking jokes, right? But she's over here passing. So it doesn't matter what she looked like. It didn't matter what she smelled like. It didn't matter about what she didn't have. But that's how ignorant I was as a 11, 12-year-old, okay? But the point is, y'all, when you're smarter than what you look, you can sometimes treat people, you know, harsh. You can treat people like they're nobody. But everybody is somebody. And that's just my opinion on that, right? But yeah, family, someone tested your gangster and found out the hard way. All right, I found out the hard way that Katrina was not dumb. She was smart. All right, but family, as I conclude this video, understand something, y'all. Don't fall for their test. They're only testing your gangster, like I said. Don't give them the satisfactory. Don't allow them to get you out of character, push you off center. Don't allow them to make you feel like you got to prove something. That's another thing, y'all, that we all fall victim to. Feeling like we have to prove something to people who are nobody, man. Like, we do. We don't got to prove nothing to social media, parents, you know, children, people who don't even know you. You don't have nothing to prove. Be the best that you can be. And if it's not enough for them, then you're not for them. And they're not for you, right? But anyway, y'all, we'll go ahead and get up out of here. Y'all make sure y'all go to the Rich Mentality Academy. Y'all join the membership, y'all, and y'all go find your tribe. Go see your tribe. Go meet your tribe. They're all right there at the Rich Mentality Academy. All right, y'all make sure y'all get one of those books. Y'all be sure to book a one-on-one session with your boy. But other than that, y'all, I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video. Y'all keep a rich mentality. Peace.